Hello guys, and welcome to Till Vacuum Do Us Part. We're jumping straight into today's video, and I'm showing you all the supplies I have gotten ready for today's video. Basically, this is going to be a step-by-step guide for getting your house organized and things labeled. So we're just going to be working on a few projects because I wanted to make sure you completely knew everything you needed, how to do it, because I feel like sometimes labeling and organizing can be overwhelming. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna be using my Cricut Joy because it is the easiest machine, and if you've never heard of it, Cricut is a smart cutting machine that allows you to create personalized projects with hundreds of materials. It works with software called Design Space that comes free with your machine. This is where you can create your projects and browse from hundreds of images and fonts, and once you've created your design, then Design Space will send it to your machine to cut or draw. You all know me, I'm a pretty much less is more type of girl, but it is nice to have different types of cleaners on hand. Typically when you're needing a cleaner, it's like a last minute deal, like you just spilled something or an accident happened and you don't want to wait or have to run to the store. So I like to just keep a lot of different type of cleaners on hand, so that's why I have so many up there in that cabinet. But like I just mentioned, we're going to be improving my softener bottle. I'm not in love with color, and these are like bright blue, plus I can never tell if I need it. Like Chase is like, do you need softener? And I have to go in there and actually pick it up to shake it. I thought if it was in this clear bin, it would be visual. I could instantly see it, or Chase could just walk by and notice it and see that I need more when he's making the grocery list. So I just picked this up, and I'm gonna start by just pouring all my containers into it. And this right here is why I was so thankful to get the clear container. This one hardly had anything in it. Anytime you're working on a space and you're organizing it, you're trying to make it just more pleasing to the eye, my best tip is to put it in something clear, get it out of its colorful container, and then label it. There's something about labeling that just makes everything seem so much more professional and put together. And not only does it look better, but it's gonna help your house function better, because if you have husbands or kids, it helps them know where things belong, what things are. I am a huge fan of labeling in my household. Speaking of labels, I do want to thank Cricut for sponsoring today's video. I love my Cricut Joy. I feel like it's very user-friendly. It is great for beginners. I'm in no way an expert when it comes to the Cricut machine. I know when you guys are watching me make this, it can be overwhelming, or maybe you even bought one and you haven't opened it up yet. Today's video is all about giving you step by step on how I create these projects, because once you do it one or two times, you pretty much do the same thing. You may just be picking a different design or a different font, but sometimes the hardest part is just about getting started, and you just need to watch somebody go through the process. So each time I'm working on a project, I'm gonna be showing you how I'm doing it. So definitely watch the screen. You're gonna design it. It's gonna show you what it looks like before you even print it, and then it's gonna have pop-ups on the screen, and it's going to guide you along the way. So you never have to really know what to do, because it's gonna prompt you and let you know what needs to be done, and it's even gonna show you how to do it. I also love the Cricut Joy because it's super small. So this is something you can travel with really easily. Say you're going to visit family and you want to create them labels, you can just take this along with you. This thing's so small and compact, but you can make some serious money making these for people. I love using it just to personalize gifts and make different things, but by far labeling is the biggest thing I use this device for. Oh, baby. just one little tip, when you're ordering supplies or going to pick them up, make sure you're getting the things that say Cricut Joy, and they're all going to be a little bit smaller and they're going to be made for this machine. And then if you're going to be printing labels, so you're going to be getting a pen to print on them, make sure you're getting writable paper. If you're just going to be cutting out labels, you don't need that, but I did want to just put that in there because I know that can be confusing. But if you want them to actually like draw on the label, make sure the paper is writable. Also, another little tip is you can order their like tools, and it's going to make life so much easier. So if you're going to invest in the Cricut Joy, definitely invest in those tools because they're going to make it so much easier getting like the labels off and cutting them and doing all the things you'll be using them for. You're hiding to breathe, running from me. And just like that, I feel like it looks so much better, and it's clear container with a label versus that like bright blue bottle. I just feel like it leveled up. So I'm going to show you. You can put this in your cabinet if you want to, or you can take it out. I feel like it's pretty enough you can display it, and that's how I'm going to use it because I like the idea of not having to open up my cabinet doors every time I'm running a load of laundry. I have my laundry pods out, now I have my softener out, and I don't even have to open up those doors unless I need like shout or something like that. I did want to take the time and just show you in action how I'm using this, and I went ahead and started a load of laundry. What's nice now is I can just pour it into my dispenser. I don't even have to put it in the lid and then rinse it off in the water and then put it back on. I can literally just pour it in there. It says max fill when it's done. Put it back. It makes life so much easier. But now we're going to move on to the next thing, and I thought this would be super helpful. How many of you guys have leftover like holiday hand soaps? These were from my guest bathroom, and so they didn't even get touched. It's not something I want to pack in a tub in our attic because they'll just explode or bust and get other things dirty, but you hate to waste them as well. So I wanted to show you, even for like gift ideas, you can personalize these, you can keep them and reuse them yourself, but all you have to do is cut off all that holiday decor or whatever's on it, peel off those old labels, and you can customize these for your bathroom. You can make them super simple how I'm going to. You can put your name on them, do what you gotta do, but you could find some of these even clearanced in stores and personalize them for a friend. So this is a good gift idea. This is a good way if you want to sell these, but I thought this would be just like a fun little project to share with you. So once again, I'm just going to click on that app. I'm going to figure out the label that I want to make, and then you just type in the words you want it to say. So I'm going to do like hand soap and hand lotion. You could make this fancier. You could do it where you're just cutting out the letters if you don't want like a white label on it. The options are like endless with this. You can design it however you want to, but it also just has some for you to choose from, so it's not completely overwhelming. It kind of narrows it down a little bit for you, which I find super helpful. And then I love that you see it before it prints, so you can check for spelling errors. You can say maybe I don't like the font on there and change that, or maybe I don't like the shape or style, and then you just choose what you're going to be printing it on. You're going to choose the pen you're using, and then you are going to print them. And just another reminder, it's going to prompt you on what to do, when you need to do it, and it's even going to show you a little video, so you don't have to know what you're doing when you buy this. It's going to be one of those things that just teaches you as you go. Now I don't need those promptings. If I haven't used it in a while, sometimes I do, but I know like the system, I know what fonts I like, I know what designs I like, so I just jump on there and I can make them so quickly now. So one of the coolest thing about this machine, and I didn't realize it until I owned one, so I feel like I need to share it with you guys, but it cuts out the label for you. So like even the shape, if you are doing like a crazy shape label like this one, it's not just cutting out a rectangle and you have to like cut it out. I seriously thought it was just a printer and it printed it on and then I would have to cut out that design. It does all the cutting for you. So you literally just design it, it prints it, it cuts it, and then you peel it off and stick it on whatever you like. So it is that simple and easy to do. And just like that, my Christmas hand soap and lotion is now been de-Christmas-fied. I can use this in my kitchen, I can use it in a bathroom, I can use it in Savannah's bathroom. It looks just nice and clean. I'm gonna go ahead and display it for you in our guest bathroom so you can see what it looks like, but you would have no idea that these were Christmas hand set lotion and soap before this. Before, I would have just wasted this, I would have just donated it or thrown it away, but I love now that I can just keep using it. I can keep switching it out, so maybe a holiday comes, I can peel those off and make them really festive for Valentine's Day, so you can like make your own hand soaps and even make your own holiday labels for them. But now I'm gonna head into my pantry because there's been an area in here that I haven't been loving. You guys know I pretty much have my pantry the way I like it, but all my spices were a little crazy. They're in all like different size containers. There's tons of different colors. So I definitely wanted to level this up and I feel like it's so easy to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those, and you can see right here I made a ton of labels. So you don't have to just make one or two at a time. You can make as many as you need to. So I just typed those all in there and got them designed, and I'm gonna go ahead and get these printed out. I think this could even be really good for any of your showers you're going to. You can customize like baby gifts or even wedding gifts. Like who doesn't want to have like nicely labeled spices, like containers when they get married? You could go ahead and buy the containers, label a few of them, leave some extra for her, and then when they move into their house they could have like all this nice organization. I know I would have loved that when I first got married, so I'm sure a lot of others would too. I will be sharing later on in the video if you want to cut out like the letters if you're not wanting like a label that's printed on. So if you want to see how to do that, definitely stay tuned. But I feel like these writable labels are just the easiest thing. You don't have to worry about transfer tape. You don't have to worry about spacing and all that. You literally just like design them, print them, peel them off, stick them on. To me, I could do this all day long. Now, I will say with the Cricut Joy, you don't have full control over like all the sizes and the shapes. If you're wanting to be very detailed when creating designs, I would definitely suggest the Cricut because over there, the options are like completely endless. But if you're a beginner and that's overwhelming and you don't want that much attention to detail, you just want to like find a cute label and print it, this will definitely be your best friend, and that's why I hands down choose the Cricut Joy anytime I can, just because it is so user-friendly. Now I need to work on getting all these spices switched over into their new containers, so I'm just lining up all the original containers and then I'm gonna line up the new ones just so there's no confusion. I definitely want the right product to get put into the right container, so I felt like this was the easiest way to do it. all of these spices are going to look so much better because they're all going to be uniform now. They're all going to be the same size. They're not super colorful in the containers. They're in this nice clear glass. Once again, it's see-through, so I can see how much I have left if I need to get it ordered next time, if we're getting low. I just feel like having things in clear containers just makes it easier for you to keep up with if you need to reorder it. So anytime I can put something in something clear, I do encourage you to do that. I love when I can organize a space and it functions even better, but it's also very pleasing to the eye, and so I feel like this is one of those perfect projects that does that. It's gonna function better. I can see what we have, what we don't have. They're all gonna be uniform and look alike. The label's super big so we can see what's printed on them. And so it just looks good and functions well, and that's just when Beauty Meets function is just like the all-time goal anytime you're working on your home. Here they are completed. I feel like they look so much better. I'm so happy with this process, and it did not take long at all. I'm gonna go ahead and take them over to the Lazy Susan. That's another good organizational hack. You can find those really cheap at stores, but then when you're in your pantry, you can just spin it and see everything you have, especially on like spices that kind of get put in the back and the middle. And I love showing you a side by side so you can remember how far we come. Sometimes you see these and like, yeah, it looks good, but they weren't that bad to begin with. When you actually see it side by side, you can see how far you've come and just how little of work can make a space look so much better. While I'm putting these back, I did want to show you inside my pantry just in case you missed that video, but I did some organization in here already. I've already done labeling with my Cricut machine, and you can just see it looks really put together. It's still very functional, but you can tell where everything is. Everything has a spot, so when my husband unloads the groceries, he knows right where it goes and there's no confusion. Now we're gonna move on to this drawer in my kitchen. It's okay. You can tell I've organized it before. I feel like typically when you're organizing, you don't get it right the first time. It just gets better and better, and each time you figure out what works, what doesn't work. So if you're on a budget, these trays were like $1. You can use it. It may be better to go ahead and get your Cricut machine and label them, because I know sometimes the bags kept getting mixed up. So I went ahead and ordered these, but you could do this for way cheaper because these were a little bit pricey. But it is just nice getting those spaces in your home organized. So declutter what you need to, get rid of anything you can, get it nicely organized, label it, and you're gonna feel so much better. Just kind of write a list of all the spaces you want to work on this year, and just every week work on an area, and you will be so thankful when you're done. I was short a bin size, and so I was going out to my garage, and I wanted to go ahead and take you out here with me because I have a whole video where I organized our garage, and I used the label machine out there as well. Like, every room in this house has labels printed, especially the garage. The garage can be so overwhelming. There can be so much stuff. Now that everything has a bin and a label, I rarely hear my husband say, "Where is this?" because he knows to just go check the bins. Just make sure you label really well so you know what's in it. Don't combine crazy stuff. Do very like items, and it's going to make life so much easier. I keep a lot of overflow out there. I love to keep extra storage containers and bins out there because when I get on a whim to organize, I want to do it. I don't want to feel like I don't have the product, so I just keep a lot of cheap organizers out there, and then when I need it, I just go out there and get it. I know what bin to go to, and then I can just put it back or put the extras over there. It makes life so much easier. Oh, and another tip when you're organizing, I like to get Ticky Tack. You can get it from any store. It's super affordable, and put it underneath your organizers, especially in drawers, so when you open and close them, they won't move around. They're stuck right to that location, so it's super helpful. But now I'm going to go ahead and show you a before and after. Another project I've done before is with these little plastic pieces. A sweet subscriber sent them to me, and I just printed labels and stuck them right on top of them and used them on my baskets here in my mudroom, which is so helpful because I have 8 of these baskets and they just stay so much more organized. Each one of my fur babies has one. We have an oil one. We have a junk bin in there, and it's just really nice to keep things organized, so keep that in mind. But the last project we're going to be working on is like my wrapping station. So in my last house, I had a spot for this in a closet, but here I didn't really have the room, and so I've been keeping it under the bed, which if you guys know me, I despise items under the bed, but it's the only place I could find to put it that I could reach it. But today we are going to be changing that up. So Chase is going to put together a piece I bought, and then I'll show you how I'm going to organize it. Once Chase had the drawers assembled, I went and measured them so I knew what size to create the label. Now, I will say this time I'm doing something a little bit different, so definitely perk up if you're still here and you're looking for another way to use your Cricut Joy machine. This time I'm just going to be cutting out the letter, so it's going to be a little bit different. I don't need my writable paper this time. I'm just going to use my permanent vinyl. So I'm sitting down here, I'm creating the label so you can see what I'm going to be working on, and I really shouldn't say label. I'm more like creating the word and the font. I'm typing out the words I'm going to need, but right here I'm going to show you everything I'm going to need for this project, just in case you want to do something like this. This project, you're going to need transfer tape. I haven't needed that in all my other ones because I've been more labeling, but this time we're going to be cutting out the letters. So I really like this method to use on like water bottles. You can personalize them. I've done that before for Savannah and my nieces. You can also do this on like school folders or backpacks. Basically anything you want to put words on. This is really cool. So this isn't labeling. This isn't where it's like on a piece of paper and it's writing on there. It's actually picking out the font, picking out the color, and you're going to cut out those letters and transfer them onto the piece. So your options are endless with this one as well. Just a little tip, because I did mention putting this on a backpack. If you're going to be putting this on any type of fabric, you're going to need the iron-on vinyl. If you're putting it on like a hard, clean surface, the permanent vinyl that I'm using here is perfect. Once it's done cutting out the words that you need, I'm going to go ahead and cut those words out because typically it puts them really close together. It doesn't want to waste any of the material, which I find super helpful. So definitely just cut out those words so you can keep them separated, and then you're going to start peeling that off but leave the letters, and then you're going to add the transfer tape on top of that, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing. I do cut down the words as small as I can. I try to get any of that excess paper around it, and then I'm just going to cut out the transfer tape and I'm going to peel it off and stick it on top of it, and then I'm going to rub it as much as I can, and this is where their tools come in really handy. And then I'll show you the rest of the steps here in a second. I did move into my kitchen. It's better to work on like a hard surface. I was on the carpet, plus it can get all that yarn in there, but I'm just showing you. I'm just rubbing it on there and then peeling it off, and then the next time I use this, I'm going to actually be putting it onto the piece or whatever piece you're going to be applying it to. Now it's time to get organizing, so I'm just grabbing everything out of that container and I'm putting it in. If you look closely, I've actually labeled that at some point. It says wrapping on it. It's probably from another labeling video. So that works really well. If you're on a tight budget and you have a spot in your closet, you can put this and still reach it. Having everything in one bin was super nice, but I'm excited to have all this stuff, have it organized, have it all broke up into different sections, and in a spot I can get to without like getting on my hands and knees to grab it out. I talk about all the time, if you have stuff on hand, it's just going to be easier to do things. If you have all your cleaning supplies, it's going to be easier to clean. If you have extra like home improvement supplies like spray paint and hot glue guns and stuff like that, it's going to be easier to do home projects. If you have all your gift wrapping station, it's just going to be easier to bring home gifts. You don't have to forget about the bag. You can just come in here, get the cards, get the bows, get the bags, or your kids can help you. Now Savannah can get to this. If she has a gift to wrap, she can go do it by herself. So just by getting little stations set up like this, it can make your life just run so much smoother. And out of all these bags, I don't think I bought any of them. They're all being reused from gifts we've gotten, and then we get to reuse them, and so it helps save money as well. Thank you guys so much for making it to this point of today's video, and I do want to thank Cricut again for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to leave the link down below my description box, so if you want to do one of these projects that I did today, or there's countless others that you can do, you can use this to save money, you can use this for gifts, you can do this to make money. Like I said, I love the Cricut joint and I feel like it's super easy to use. So thanks again. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!